Hey guys, J77 here, doing another What's News update. This is where I take some of the news that I've been following, both local and internationally, plus all over the 50 states, combine it into one and talk about it as briefly and as quickly as possible. This is the first and only one I'm actually doing on the cafe. Most of the time when I do these kind of things, I do it as pre-recording where I usually stay at. But there's a lot of stuff going on there, so pretty much have no choice but to do it here. And pretty much I'm doing it still as pre-recorded because the length of the video, I don't not trust my connection to work carefully, so it is being pre-recorded, but make no mistake about it, I'm doing it in a live setting. I might as well start with some of the news that was sent to me by email, some of the stuff that have recently surfaced, because there was a lot of stuff that I have hold off for the time being to see if there's any follow-ups. The first thing I'm going to talk about is this Kony 2010 video, which I did not made a video response to, or just basically my own personal feelings or thoughts about it. A lot of people was not happy that I blatantly said I was not going to do a response video, any type of video relating to that matter. Now, don't get me wrong. What's going on in other countries when it terms of child soldiers, rape, humiliation, murder is disgusting, it's despicable. I am aware of a lot of those things that's going on, and whoever this Corey guy is, he is definitely, for what was described in the video, because I have saw the video, it's disgusting and despicable. However, there was something about that video that made me feel it was better to hold off for the time being and see where everybody's, both, people who's been watching the video, both for those who are in the political circle, both Democrats and Republicans, as well as some of the people abroad from social networks, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, have to say as an overall. And the reason for that is, although the video is compelling and very powerful, it is also a propaganda piece, and you're getting one side of the story. And then from what I've been seeing, it was a lot of stuff. Information was good. It was good information, but I also felt there was something kind of off about the video that I felt that it was not telling us. And now, just 2 days later, after seeing the video, it has turned out that the guy, man, had been dead and gone for almost 5 years, which a lot of people from social sites, political, and on YouTube, has not very happy about that, because they felt they was deceived. They felt they was lied to by the people who made that video, which went viral, by the way, because they felt that all this time they were dead. They knew they were dead, and that they still posted anyway to get fundraising and get money and all that stuff that which people have now being accused of. They basically be accused of fraud. I don't think they did anything that was fraudulent, but I do think they mislead the people if, in fact, they knew that he was gone. And here's the thing about this: there is no evidence saying that he is or isn't dead, because I actually tried my best to look up any information posts, Daily News, CNN, any website that has a legitimate information, and there is none. It's just thrown out there that he may have been gone for 5 years. So to be very honest, we don't know. We just don't know. And to say that they're lying or not lying, I think it's kind of I'm neutral about that, because on one hand, it is good to know information about this guy and what he has done, but on the other hand, you got to be honest to the people about whether he is gone or not. And I don't know if they knew he was gone, because keep in mind, we don't know how long this video was, what effort it took to make this video, how many years it took to make the video. I do know their main base is located in San Diego, but there's just a lot of stuff, in my opinion, that just need to be questioned. and I think they're definitely going to have to ask. A lot of people are going to ask, both political and both in the social networks, will be demanding answers for these people who made that site. Because if he is dead and they knew about it, they got a lot of explaining to do, and that's the whole thing. For me, I didn't make this video because it was just something about the video I didn't like, and now I'm glad that I didn't respond to it. What I can say about it is that until a legitimate info is given in terms of whether he's alive or dead or not, because the government hasn't say much about these allegations, I'm just gonna hold a neutral perspective on the matter, meaning that I'm happy that this information is being brought out there, because whether he's dead or not doesn't mean that the situation is still is not going on. It's still going on in these countries. And I think people need to be aware about the inhumane stuff that is happening in the world, whether they want to believe it or not, because it does exist, and it needs to be brought to the forefront, especially for those who are in high power, who knows it exists and is actually participating in this heinous acts. So if anything else, I take that, not just the Coleman 2012 thing, but just the fact that this stuff does actually happen, whether it's this guy or some other warlord. And that's all pretty much I'm going to say about that. But in terms of him being gone for 5 years or not, I'm just going to wait and see until anything new come up. So that's my take on that matter. Another news report which was given to me, this one I am going to respond to, because this is a very sad situation. A 10-year-old boy have lost his eye due to a horrific accident that, in my opinion, should have been avoided. And there's really no excuse for this. That it should have been avoided, especially if the adults have grown and they actually was playing around with this weapon. I'm going to read the article. This is from the Providence Journal. This was written by Amanda Miscalifas, and it says here that a couple of men horsing around with a crossbow inside the apartment in the West End shot a 10-year-old in the eye early Sunday. The dart penetrated the brain, but the boy pulled out the dart himself before rescuers arrived. Sergeant Michael Walters, a doctor, told police that Soho will likely lose his eye, which, by the way, he had lost his eye. I'm sorry, I'm getting these names kind of mixed up. Told the police around 2 a.m. that they were shooting darts from a crossbow into a dartboard inside 94th Street when Soho was injured. I think that's the boy's name. EK told the police that he was showing the boy how to use it when it jammed, according to police report. AK of 114th 4th Street, apartment 2, was charged with firing in a compact area. Ooh, yeah, this is irresponsible, really. I don't know what the charges are, but no matter what it is, a boy lost his eye because of pretty much reckless stupidity. There is really no reason why. I mean, this is a compact area, you're horsing around. Anytime you have something like that, any kind of weapon that can do body harm is nothing to be played around with, and these guys should have known better. That man is scarred for life, and I don't know what to say except wow. Again, many people is going to say that this was a horrible accident, these guys should be charged, which, by the way, some of them did comment on this a while ago. Others will say these guys should be going to jail because they know the dangers of this weapon and proceed to fool around anyway, putting the child in danger. I'm just happy the kid is alive, because this could have been far, far more worse. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot of answers to the questions that what really went down in terms of charges going to go, because like I said, this is a dated report. I was going to comment on this a while back, but I wanted to see if I can get more information, which fortunately there is none, at least at the moment. But right now they are being charged, and again, this is typical, typical, mindless stupidity. You don't play with stuff like that. They're very dangerous and can kill you if you're not careful. And I think these guys, I do believe it's an accident, but I think these guys were just pretty much they wasn't thinking at all. Which that's the best way I can describe it. They just wasn't thinking. They're thinking now because one of them is facing serious child endangerment charges, as well as abuse and neglect. So, see what happens with that. If there's any more news on that matter, I will pretty much talk about. I will pretty much report about it. But as far as I'm concerned, that's all that it really is. I'm just hoping that the boy gets the treatment he needs to make a recovery. One of the reports that was given to me. Oh yes, I have to talk about this because I actually hold off on this report. It was about an Alaskan family, pretty much an Alaskan child who died because their parents locked these kids up in a room for all what the news report said. With an open window in Alaska. Now it was sub-freezing temperature. I think it was 30 degrees below zero when these kids was found unconscious. According to the reports, and I actually hold it up for this reason. The report said that the kids died because they wet the bed, and that was one of the reasons why this happened. Now, that report, I can tell you right now, is a little bit untrue because there's two sides of the story. According to the boyfriend, who is being charged, by the way, both of them are being charged by second-degree manslaughter, I believe. He said that the door was broke, the latch was broken, and there was no way they could have gotten out or inside. They also said that they opened the window because of the fact that the kids did wet the bed and they wanted to air out the room. That's a far different story than what the news said, because the news said that was the main reason. And as you read the news, you're finding out that there's something a little bit off. And it doesn't surprise me how the media is. They always paint the worst picture. The question is, did they really murder these kids? And that's the thing that I don't. It's like almost like there's a missing piece there that doesn't add up, and that's the whole thing. But both of them are being charged because they left the door. They was left in a locked room. The boyfriend found them unconscious. He did call the police. At one time, I think they couldn't find the mother, I believe, but they found both of them and they're being charged. They actually had to airlift them to the hospital where I think the 2-year-old, a 3-year-old had died. And the other one was pretty much in bad shape. I think hypothermia that what they found them. Yeah, they was in the room for a pretty long time, and it was locked. The thing about this thing is that it is a sad case. It's a very, very sad situation what happened. But the question I have to ask myself was this done on purpose, or was this a horrible accident? Because like I said before, with the media, it made it sound like that the parents forcibly locked these kids in with an open window because they wet the bed. But when you read the report, it tells a whole different story, and you're like, wait a minute, which one is it? So I'm going to keep a close eye on this case. I know this case is going to be big on Alaska. But one thing is certain, the boyfriend did confirm that the door was locked and there was no way to get inside. No way for them to leave on the outside. And the question is, if he knew that, this is the main question, why he left them in there knowing they couldn't get out? It didn't make any sense. But I'm gonna leave that, guys, up to you to comment on the comment section, and you give me your own feelings on that matter. But yeah, it is a messed up story, and only reason why I didn't do a video on that right away is because I want to get more information, because the Huffington Post and another paper really wasn't giving me a legit story. It said one thing, but then it was reporting on a whole different thing, and then I found the local news video, which did almost the same thing. They pretty much said what other articles I found said. It didn't make it like that was the main reason, but they did said that the girls basically couldn't get out the room. So yeah, I'm gonna leave that up to you guys to comment. And another thing just this way in international, Bin Laden's wives are being charged for illegally entering the country by Palestinian government. They didn't say what the charge is going to extend to. Is that the only thing they're going to be charged with, or if in fact it carries any significant jail time? They just said they're being charged for illegally entering the country. My question is this: did they went to that country on their own free will because you know who they were connected to? And two, are they really charging them because of that, or are they trying to cover themselves up for the incident that went down with the U.S. raid? Because let's be honest, the Palestinians has not looked in the most prestige light by U.S. and even from some other people. For the simple fact is that Obama was living right next to a military base, and no one noticed he was there. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff. So that's a lot of stuff going on in between that we're not being aware of, and I think they are trying to, cover their own end by making Bin Laden's wives the scapegoats. They're basically going to make an example of them just to get the constant controversy off them. Didn't vote too well for the Taliban. They threatened war against them. I'm not saying I'm surprised by that at all. So if they don't release them to their custody, I don't know how Pakistan is going to respond to that. I don't even know what the U.S. stands on that. But one thing is certain: this is going to be in the news for a while, at least internationally. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't know if any real punishment is going to happen to these girls, especially if they didn't have a choice in the matter of where they was going to live, being who Bin Laden is. So I don't know how severe this punishment is, but you never know. Pakistani law is way different to the United States law, way different to Canadian law, way different to the UK law. So it can be anything. It can range anywhere to a year or even harsher punishment. So I'm just gonna have to wait and see how that goes from a day-by-day basis. But apparently that's what's going on with that. Apparently you pretty much, when this situation comes in, you better believe that other groups are going to put their 2 cents in, whether we like it or not. Local news. I rode in New York for a while. A lot of stuff happened in New York, a lot of stuff that affected some laws in New York. I'm just going to knock it down one by one. The first thing that I should be bringing up is that there was a big decision between the cigarette companies and the anti-smoking ads. The federal law has pretty much shut down the government, New York City, that is, from posting images on cigarette boxes and cartons. These images pretty much stands from seeing a woman, breathing in an oxygen mask, and seeing someone with a hole in their neck, to someone actually laying in a casket. And these images were supposed to be mandated if they would have gotten their way to be placed on cigarette cartons. The idea was to pretty much give a graphic detail that this could happen to you if you continue smoking cigarettes. Apparently the federal government have shut it down. I don't know if the United States is going to go forward to a major appeal, but for now, the cigarettes have actually won a major victory for them. My feeling for this: look, I'm not a smoker, don't smoke, so it doesn't bother me either way. And to be honest with you, I don't think the smoker cares whether they put images or not. If they're going to smoke, they're going to smoke. So I got nothing against the anti-smoking campaign. They have basically went on full circle with this. They have been trying to get the word out that smoking is bad. I don't really care about it, but I had a feeling that they was going to lose in court in terms of trying to put their anti-smoking ads on a cigarette product, and expect them to be okay with that. So, you guys may feel differently. I'd love to hear your feelings on that story, but in terms of that, yeah, I wasn't surprised that they let the state lost, but doesn't mean they're going to try something else different. They have posted a lot of strict laws in terms of heard of cigarette smoking in New York. They have basically banned it from all bars, restaurants, any public place, public building, restaurants, sorry, parks, beaches, anything that is city-owned. You're not allowed to smoke there. You're pretty much allowed to smoke, any other places, including your home, but they basically ban it from anything that is city-owned. Period. So, and they do give out tickets from time to time if you break that law. So, yeah, they are pretty much stepping up the game in terms of keeping people from smoking in these areas. And yeah, New York City has been really pushing for people to quit and really pushing hard because they have really launched a lot of anti-campaign against cigarettes and stuff to bring the word out that cigarettes is bad for you, which there is. There's no denying that. But in my own feeling, parents are going to smoke no matter what. They are going to do that if they want to. I don't think that's not going to stop them. Even the cigarette prices, even with the high cigarette prices, it costs like $15 just for a pack of cigarettes. Even with that high prices, people are going to find a way to get their smoke on no matter what. My own concern is keep it away from children, keep it away from underage people, and you'll be fine with me. If you're an adult, that's your choice. No one should really tell you what to do, what not to do. Just know there's a consequences that goes with that choice. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. Another thing is a lot of people has been improving with the new bill. The sanitation bill for restaurants. Bloomberg has gotten high praises for that. I, for one, do agree with that. This is pretty much in New York. I don't know what goes on in other states, but New York has a system where you not only do an inspection, but they give the lettering to all restaurants, and most restaurants who have gotten that lettering, it's basically that's the best lettering. The worst, from what I've been seeing, is C's. I've seen a couple of C's restaurants. This lettering is to help improve sanitation in the restaurant, make sure the food is properly cooked, and it has been working. Most of the stuff most of the restaurants who normally would not get good grades have got good grades. Salmonella poison has been dropping, so it does have some good effects to it. I'm happy that it actually has some positive results. Restaurant owners, not too happy at all. They are not pleased with this bill at all. They've been actually trying to fight it for a while. They're saying it's unfair, the fines are too big, and the inspectors basically feel they're above them. I agree that the fines could be too high, but that's pretty much the only thing I'm agreeing to. The bottom line is the inspectors are going to do a job. Their job is to look for mistakes, not look for things that looks pretty. Their job is to look for mistakes and make sure you correct those mistakes before they come back again. And to be fair to the inspectors, they have given restaurants in the window. They gave them a chance. Say, look, we're not going to do anything yet. You make any improvements, we'll come back. And if you make the improvements, we give you a good grade. If not, we're going to find you and give you a low grade. And they have been doing that. I've seen restaurants got that opportunity to improve their services as well as their sanitation and their cleanliness. And to me, to say that they're just being out there just to get fines, I think it's just kind of wrong and unfair to their job. They're doing the job, and their job is to look for mistakes, no more, no less. They're not there to be buddies, and they're there to be pals. That's what their major role is for. And for me, I'd rather have a nice, safe, clean environment where I know I'm not going to get poisoned leaving the restaurant than coming in a place knowing I'm not, knowing that I have an upset stomach, and that's because the food I ate or drank in a restaurant establishment. Nobody wants that. So that's what's going on in New York. Also, what's going on in New York is kind of funny is that the G train, those especially lived around where I'm at, is threatening to have their service cut. Again, this one, however, I'm a little bit surprised that everybody else is surprised by this. The G service had an extension to running 5 stops, and now they're looking to cut those additional 5 stops to go back to the stops it was really was going to. It originally was stopping at Smith and Knife in Brooklyn. But because of construction and because of the project they was doing, it ran a couple more stops down where it ran all the way through Park Slope. They basically had a time limit. They said about, I think, 2015 it was going to stop running that line. But because I think the low ridership doing that 5 extensions and that and the cost, they decided just to scrap that whole idea, or at least about to scrap that whole idea and go back to the Smith and Knife stop. I'm hoping they'll leave one more stop on, because here's the problem. Here's the main reason why a lot of people's mad, because if you cut it to Smith and Knife, you need to take a train to 4th Avenue and then take another train to get to where you got to get to, and that's a big hassle. Whereas if they stop to 4th Avenue, you can transfer to all your trains there in one shot, which will cut time. But apparently, if they do that to Smith and Knife, it does take a lot longer to get to where you are. The simple fact is that you're cutting the transfer point from that train, and that's where a lot of people really is mad about, because it does take a lot longer, because you got to take another train just to get to one stop to transfer to another train. So that's the main issue there. I think it's going to work out itself. I think that in the end, I think that they're going to keep it a little while longer, especially if the petition gets bigger and bigger. But I think the ridership needs to improve. I think that's the main thing. Because remember, the only reason why they extended the train was this little fact they was doing construction, and they needed to have that train run through. There was no transfer point where they made the last stop and they transferred back out just to come back in. So there's a lot of reasons why they did that, and I think that because of low ridership, they are looking to cut those from 5 stops. They're not cutting the G completely, just the 5 extensions. So let's see what happened about that one. That's pretty much just about it, guys. That's the news that's going on. There's a lot of other stuff that's going on, but I pretty much will do it as a separate video on that, because I need to do more research and find out what's going on with the updates. But apparently, I've already talked about the Mark Sanchez signing, which is on my other videos, so it's on my old channel. But other than that, that's just about all the stuff I've been following. If you guys have any comments on any of the stuff I said, please by all means leave it in the comment section. If you have some interesting news that you like to share with me, please leave it in my inbox. I'll take a look at it. If it's something that I can actually really take a look and do research on, I will. It could be about anything, sports, politics, whatever. But until then, this is J77 saying you guys take care and you have a nice night.